Oh, a storm is threatening my very life today. If I don't get some shelter, oh yeah, I'm gonna fade away. War, children, it's just a shot away. It's just a shot away. War, children, it's just a shot away. It's just a shot away. That's a song called Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones from the 1969 album Let It Bleed. Mr. Thurman chose those lyrics, and sir, the floor is yours.
First of all, Sean, it's nice to be here with you again, my captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Those lyrics, you and I spoke last week. I like to be eclectic with the music and with a lot of things just to move around. But my home base is certainly, the Rolling Stones. For me, I cannot pick a favorite song by the Stones because I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the Stones, but where do I start? I'll start with your favorite song, Joey. Wait a minute. It's like asking someone with 12 kids, who's your favorite kid? The thing of it is, I have probably an A list, a B list, and a C list. I love all of them, but A list probably has 30 songs, B list probably has about 20 songs, and C list probably, whatever. So out of that A list of 30 songs or so, I just said to myself, okay, you know what, Joe? There's things going on in the news right now. Plus, my ringtone, the beginning of this song, "Gimme Shelter," is my ringtone. It's been my ringtone for the longest time. So I figured, okay, whether you realize it or not, it's probably the one. So I love the Rolling Stones. I think they've been together forever. The best front man in the business, legendary. All my life, I've listened to them. I mean, I can go 3-4 months without even playing them, whatever, because I listen to a lot of stuff. But it's always so neat to go back in and listen to them. And when I hear something, I can go half crazy when I hear something. Anyway, I think what provoked me, you and I talking about, music lately, and you telling me, it's okay to go to this back to the Stones if you want, so I did. And I think the reason why, in addition to the other reason I just gave you, these jokers over in Korea and in Russia and China, and our involvement over here and the state of affairs in the world today, it's got me on edge. It's got a lot of people on edge. And when I hear, war, it's just a shot away. And these lyrics were written, I mean, in the Vietnam era and so forth, but they're applicable right about now too. So I guess all of that put together, I pulled the trigger on "Gimme Shelter." But the band, probably the best rock and roll band. I think the word best is relative, but and subjective, but it's safe to say the best damn rock and roll band in the world, and a song that's like no other. It's over 50 years old. People still go nuts when they hear it. So
And
all those things. Go ahead. All those things.
they say it's just a shot away, but then they end the song saying it's just a kiss away. It's just a kiss away.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think they switch? Like, what's your interpretation of switching from the shot to the kiss?
Well, he said war. He's war, children. It's just a shot away. Then he's turning around and saying, "Love, sister. Love, sister. It's just a kiss away." So he changed it from war. It's just a shot away. Well, love's only a kiss away. Why he did that, I don't know, but it makes sense. I mean, if he kept war in place and then put kiss, that'd be a little weird. But when he says kiss, it's with respect to love, because he says, "Love, sister, it's just a kiss away." And maybe it's compare and contrast war and love. I don't know. I don't have that much insight. But interesting stuff, and just a great song. And not only that, there's some history to be made there too. And the 2 minutes and 45 seconds into that song, there's a young lady that comes in, and her name, I can't remember. Her last name is Clayton. Murray, like Merry Christmas. Murray Clayton, African-American woman. Great voice. She did a lot of stuff for other artists. If you look her up, she's been like a backup and an associate,
She was
vocals.
actually she was born on Christmas. Just a little fun fact about Mary Clayton.
Maybe hence the name. Seeing that I didn't know. You learn something new every day. But 2 minutes and 45 seconds into this song, they let her do a solo. And the night that she did this solo in the studio, it wasn't scheduled. It was late at night, and they called her like at 1:30 in the morning, and they said, "Look, we're going to give you this much money. Please just get in here right now. We have the studio." So she came in her hair in curlers. She was 4 months pregnant, but she came in. It was a rainy night. She came in because it's the Rolling Stones. And plus they were throwing her all kinds of cash. So she came in there and she hit this note and her voice cracked because she said it was cold in there. She was tired. She was pregnant and her voice cracked. And she goes, "Well, I can do it again." And they said, whoa. You don't want to do it again. They said, "This is awesome." It's because the way her voice cracked, there was so much emotion and so much effort at the top of that thing that when it cracked gracefully and it will forever be there. Now there's a mistake that's like locked in because she said, "I'll do it again." They said, no, don't. It's like that, like an artistic masterpiece with a flaw. So there's some history there too. 2 minutes and 45 seconds in, she does this solo, and the solo she does is I still get goosebumps. I still get goosebumps. So a little bit of history there too. Little fun fact.
Absolutely. And I think Martin Scorsese, the famous film director, he's probably a big fan of the Rolling Stones because he's used
Yes, yeah.
the song "Gimme Shelter" in Goodfellas, Casino, and The Departed.
Yeah, he is. But much respect. He knows good stuff when he hears it, man. So, and they're not the only band. I'm not exclusive to. But if I had to pick one band, that's it. But like I said, me, I'm eclectic. But these guys are just on a whole different level, and they've spanned 5 decades, my bro, and they're still together. I mean, lost Charlie Watts last year, but
Something cool is their 2012 50th anniversary tour, 50th anniversary tour. They sang the song with Mary J. Blige, Florence Welch. I know Florence Welch. She's from Florence and the Machine. If people don't know who she is, they're a really good band. And Lady Gaga. So it's pretty cool. There's like a special performance of the song with these 3 great female artists.
I think they've done that song with so many people. It's not funny. I think the young lady from the Black Eyed Peas did it with Jagger one time. I think so many people have stepped in because it's a legendary song. You go at any rock artist, anybody, and say, do you know that song? They're going to say, "What? Do I know that song?" Yeah, that kind of thing. So it is what it is.
Absolutely, man. Speaking of music, I bought Bruce Springsteen tickets today. So he's on tour right now, but it was only supposed to be like an arena tour from what I understood. I didn't know he was going to be transitioning to stadiums when he got back because he's going to Europe. He's doing America arenas. Then Bruce is going to Europe. And then they added 2 shows to MetLife Stadium and also 2 shows to Citizens Bank Ballpark where the Phillies play. And I entered the list to get on the verified Ticketmaster. You could buy tickets before other people can. And they said I can buy for August 30th. So I got up this morning and at 10 in the morning, I put my code in. They texted me the code and I just missed out. I thought I was going to get floor seats, general admission standing room right near the stage in the pit, they call it. But I missed out on those. But I got floor seats and I bought I bought some other tickets and I'm thinking about flipping them. So my ticket to Bruce will be free. So I'll just kind of have a nice thing going on with that. But that might not happen because there was such high demand. They probably knew this before, obviously, because they had they have to schedule playing at that venue, but they added a 3rd show on September 3rd. So there's a show on August 30th, September 1st, and September 3rd. They added a 3rd show. So that kind of messed up my plans to flip the tickets quickly, the extra ones I bought, to pay for the one that I bought, because I bought a nice ticket right on the floor with a seat, but I'll be standing the whole time. But I haven't seen Bruce since 2009. 2008 or 2009. I think it was 2008. I saw him at MetLife Stadium with some fraternity brothers. I've also seen him at Madison Square Garden. My friend dad had box seats, but both times I saw him, the one time at the Garden, I was wasted. Me and my friend were drinking beer the whole night. And also the box is kind of far away from the stage. So we're like half paying attention. And then we saw him at MetLife Stadium, and I was just, I was pretty drunk that night too. I was in college, remember, but
Right.
I was like tripping over the seats and everything, and as far we had real nosebleeds. So this time it's going to be a proper Bruce experience. I'll be pretty close to the stage. I'll be right in the football field. So I'm pretty pumped up about that. But I'm just kind of disappointed that they could have told people before. They could have said like, listen, we're doing 3 shows. Now we're talking about adding a 4th show because he doesn't have another show till September 7th. He's playing the 30th, the 1st, and the 3rd. So I wouldn't be surprised if they add a 4th show. So it's good for people for ticket prices. And I'm just complaining as a person who wanted to strategically go to a Bruce concert for free, because I was able to buy tickets. I laid out over $1,000 for all the tickets, and then I can, sell my extra tickets, and then it pays for my ticket. So it's kind of cool. I did that with Paramore. Paramore is another great band I love. Haley Williams is the singer. I'm seeing them at Madison Square Garden on Memorial Day, in New York City. But I was able to buy a couple extras, and I sold them, and then I got a free ticket basically to see Paramore. So anyway, that's something that happened today. But I'm pretty pumped, man.
If I wasn't going to be in Michigan, I might mess around and go with you to Bruce, but I'm
Yeah,
going to be
when you going to Michigan?
Labor Day Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, it's right around that time.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be.
Didn't you just go last year too?
Yeah, last year.
Is that like a yearly thing you do? Like you go to Michigan?
It's sort of yes and no. It's not every single year, but it's not uncommon for me to be out there in late August and so forth. Now, last year there was a wedding going on, and then a drag race that my brother and I wanted to get to right after the wedding. So that was kind of, but there's some camping going on up by Lake Michigan, and Labor Day weekend is a good, and so many a year. And I just found out from my sister like a week ago. She's like, "You're going, right?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, yeah, why not? What the hell?" Because it's always, Lake Michigan is just it's just tremendous.
It's all drivable, right? Like when you go there, you drive.
Yeah, I do. I drive out to Indianapolis where they live, and then we all go up. So I drive out to Indianapolis. It's like a 10.5 hour shot from our area here, and whether we go right away or the next day, or if I'm there for a couple of days, from where they live, it's probably about depending on how high up in Michigan you want to go, it can be anywhere from 3 hours to 8 hours. So, it depends on, our trip is going to be, it's going to be somewhere in between. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man.
How far were you going Michigan from Detroit? Because I've been to Detroit twice for Villanova basketball. We drove, once I took a bus there from 2008. Then my friend and I drove in 2009 for the Final Four.
Okay, well, I'll show you.
Drivable, Detroit.
Well, it's this. Put your left hand up, and so you're looking at the back of your hand, right? So your thumb, or your knuckle of your thumb is kind of Detroit. We're way over by the pinky, by halfway, either halfway up to all the way up your pinky is Traverse City. So we're about halfway, somewhere halfway up. So we're on the other side of the state. We're on the Lake Michigan side. You're on Detroit, which is the Lake Huron side. I prefer where we're going, which is the Lake Michigan side, the pinky side. But Michigan is shaped like a left mitten, So yeah. Just to give you some indication.
Yep. Did you hear there's going to be a blizzard in Southern California?
I don't know. I know that we have had all winter long. I was telling you, we don't even have winter anymore, really. We haven't had any snow to speak of, and they're getting it in California. I saw a little bit on the news last night where people are shoveling snow out there, and they don't know what the hell to do.
So does that, people always talk about global warming. Not that we're going to talk about global warming this episode, but when you see it's snowing in places like Southern California, is it one of those things where you're like, okay, maybe global warming is not happening as soon as we think, or is it just okay, that's normal cyclical weather?
Well, I'm a firm believer, and I believe that 99% of the scientists, I'm sure you can get 1% of any profession to say anything you want, okay? But 99% of the scientists believe that the Earth is warming and it's affecting our weather and so forth. Now, the planet is so volatile that we're not talking about, oh yeah, it's 10 degrees hotter than it used to be, or in the winter. But it's so volatile that a degree here or there is really, really significant. when you look at the ice caps melting and so forth and so on, and we have to pay attention to this stuff. So I believe that global warming is absolutely real. And I believe that we need to be cognizant of it, and we need to be more proactive if we have any kind of consideration whatsoever for generations to come. So it's
Yeah.
my opinion.
It says, so Los Angeles, the mountains around the Los Angeles, heavy snow. It drenched the coast with heavy rain, shut down a lot of major highways, and even dusted the Hollywood Hills for the first time in decades. I guess first time in decades, the Hollywood Hills have been dusted with some snow.
Mm-hmm. Our weather's being thrown out of whack.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I remember when I first heard about global warming. Really, I was at freshman year at a school called Drew University. I played soccer there for a year, a small D3 school in New Jersey before I transferred to Villanova. But Al Gore visited, and he had this movie called An Inconvenient Truth, all about like global warming.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw Al Gore, like I basically saw him, like it was basically the movie, but it was him in person speaking. And then I walked out of there. I was like, oh man, this is crazy, because he was so convincing. So yeah, that was around like 2005 or 2000. I think it was around 2006, the spring of 2006. I saw Al Gore speak in person, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see like the former vice president, almost president, talk in person. And then he's talking about this really important issue. I'm like, what the hell's going on? But
yeah, well, it's certain we should definitely be aware of it, man. Absolutely.
yeah, I just wonder like what exactly like can everyday citizens do to like prevent like the, you know what I mean? Like what can we do to like slow global warming? If it truly is that dangerous, like what can we be doing? Do you know like anything we can do?
We can vote for people who are going to move along some legislation that's going to help us globally. The first thing we have to do is accept the fact that it's real. And because it not to ignore it or shun it or make fun of it, pretend that it's some kind of a wacky notion because it hurts our immediate pocketbook right away because it's inconvenient, right? We have to accept the fact that it's real, listen to the scientists, and then make little sacrifices. If we all make little sacrifices, and listen and be willing to participate and do the things that they suggest we do. Sean, it makes sense. I mean, if you really think about the planet and you think about all the way up, all the thousands and thousands and hundreds of millions or years really, but I mean, as far as humans being on it, it wasn't up until the Industrial Revolution that we had to start worrying about things being emitted into the air, right? Because of the machinery and so forth. So, and since then, it's been a slow process, but because people say, 800 years ago, we never had that. Whoa. We have to start from the Industrial Revolution. And it does make sense that from that point on, that's when the clock started ticking, how we're starting to affect our environment. And really 99%, I think it's 98.7% or something of all the scientific community believe that there's validity here. It just all we have to do is accept it and make little sacrifices and we'll be all right. I just I don't know.
Some things they say, I'm reading something called 18 Simple Things You Can Do About Climate Change. Bring your own bottle or mug. Replace inefficient light bulbs. Turn off some lights. Have a 2 degrees goal at home. Set your thermostat a couple degrees up or down, depending on the season, to make a difference in the energy you use. Walk or bike somewhere you normally drive. Because they're always talking about people taking these private flights. They're like, oh, they're against global warming, but here they are using their private jets flying all over the place. So, that happens to people. That makes people angry sometimes too. Or like, are they being hypocritical? Do they actually care? Like, also, just a lot of little
it's like I told you about 10, if everyone chips in $10 is nothing, right? But if everyone chips in $10, if the more people, millions of people start chipping in $10, you're going to feed a lot of folks. You're going to buy a lot of Band-Aids for folks. You're going to get a lot of blankets on people that are cold. It's going to make a difference. So everyone does their due diligence. Everyone does a little something, and that's all. But you can't do that if you deny that it's real. That's the biggest problem, in some circles.
Yeah, there's a good one. It says, don't be a vampire. Unplug your computer, toaster, and other appliances when not using them to avoid sucking up needless energy. There's just a little, like, people can have these little tips, they're already, I didn't like it at first, but New Jersey got rid of plastic bags.
Mhm.
And at
I
first
didn't like it either.
I was annoyed I had to get really used to it. Like every time I went to the store, oh my God, I forgot the bags again. I got to buy more bags. And
Yep,
like,
me
now
too.
I'm just so used to it. Now when I think about it, I'm like, we are like saving a lot, like, a lot of plastic waste that are killing like ocean life. And like, it's a little inconvenience for us, but we can use these recyclable bags. It's not like a huge deal.
Exactly. And you took the words out of my mouth, because when it first started, and as much as I wanted to participate in this too, I'm like, what they just give me the plastic bags and this, but if it applies to everyone, and everyone, doesn't doesn't get plastic, and that starts to add up, it makes a big difference. In this plastic, a lot of this plastic, because we've got so much plastic to be recycled that a lot of it doesn't even get anywhere near the recycling bin, and they haul that out to the ocean. And my God, well, that's horrible, because this stuff it's not biodegradable, and it's not going to go away, man. You know what I mean? So I think that's we have to do what we have to do, and I'm right with you. I almost verbatim with regard to when it first started. It was a pain in the ass, but now I've got it down. And okay, I grab my bags. Wawa does the same damn thing, and it makes sense. It just makes a whole lot of sense, and we have to start if we have any kind of because generations to come will look back and see, if we don't, they'll look back and say, "What the hell were they?"
Yeah, because when you think about it, like, say someone can show us the future of, like, if you guys keep using plastic bags, this is going to happen, and they could prove it was real. Everyone will be like, "Oh my God!" Like, of course, we don't need to use these bags. It's like, yeah, I can bring my own bags. Like, until people can see the finish line and see the light at the end of the tunnel and the threat type of thing, like, they really just don't take it seriously.
Right. And it's the cumulative effect of very subtle temperature changes to the planet. Now, 1 degree or 2 degrees doesn't make a damn difference to you and I if we're going to go out playing golf, whether it's 68 or 70. But 1 or 2 degrees perennially adds up, and it really makes a difference to this volatile planet. It really, really does. And
Yeah.
we have to just be aware of it, and you can't grow up. One of the saddest things and funniest things at the same time, there was a senator. Well, I don't think he was a senator. It was a House of Representatives. I can't remember where he was from, and I'm not going to get political. But he was one of these. No, it's not. There's no global warming. He stands there in front of Congress with a big old snowball about the size of a volleyball. He says, "I got this outside. Now, if it's global warming, how did I get this?" I mean, that's the mentality. That it's like, Jesus. I mean, dude, are you for real? I hope you're, because if you're really asking this question for real, let's take a test here and see if you should even be and standing where you are. Anyway.
So I read an article in New York Times a couple months ago or last month. The guy lived an entire day without plastic. He lives in New York City, like one of the writers from New York Times. And he had to like ask his wife to open the door for him because the doorknob had plastic coating. Like, that's a level of, like, he took it to a different level of avoiding plastic. He used a shampoo bar instead of instead of shampoo out of a plastic bottle. Everywhere he went, he had to, it was like such a challenge. So he did it to the extreme.
Right.
Not everyone has to go like crazy and like, because he was just doing it as an experiment just to see, can you go a whole day with plastic? And it is very tough. I mean, plastic's a crucial ingredient in a lot of big things we have, like smoke alarms and helmets. Plastic airplane parts are lighter than metal ones. So we're never going to get rid of plastic. And I don't want to get rid of plastic. Plastic's it's a great thing. Plastic's like pretty cool. And it's like, it's awesome, but obviously we don't want it ending up like hurting us and like ending up in the oceans, killing marine life and, causing all this toxic, like, it's just like, if we're just responsible about recycling and like, the little things like not using plastic bags, the whole state is doing it in New Jersey. Like, that is going to hopefully add up cumulatively, like you said. But again, we're not a show to preach to the left or to the right or to,
No.
this just spurred because we were talking about Southern California, having a snowstorm, a blizzard, and this has sprouted up this topic. Joe and I didn't even plan. We didn't talk about, we were like, yo, let's talk about global warming. This is just something that just came up,
Right. Yep.
But nonetheless, it's something to think about for sure.
It's something, that if we all acknowledge that it exists, And I think a lot of those folks over there, they know the truth. If we just acknowledge that it does exist and we all agree to take little steps to proactive measures, we should be fine. But it's that first part that we got to get past.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of plastic, not that this involves plastic, I just saw a movie last night called Cocaine Bear. And let me tell you, this was way better than I expected. Like this movie for Thursday night, the theater was packed. I think it's like that Megan movie. It's one of those movies that people are going to have fun going to see in theaters. And it was actually Ray Liotta's last movie that he ever did before he died.
Kerry Russell's in that too, I think.
Who?
Kerry Russell?
Yeah, she's in it. I really like her. She was in a great show called The Americans.
Oh, I loved that program. That was a great series.
Oh, you watched The Americans too?
Oh, tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah. And also there's a lady from The Americans. You probably, if I showed her picture, you probably know who she is right away. Her name is Margot Martindale. She does not get enough credit as an actress. Because she was excellent in The Americans. She's like the older, like kind of like chubby lady.
Oh yeah.
I'm sending you a picture right now. Check your phone in like 2 seconds.
I think I know exactly. She was a tough customer in that too.
She was in Cocaine Bear, and oh my god, her performance was friggin' funny. Do you see the picture?
Yep, that's her. Yep.
Yeah. So Margot Martindale, we might mess around and do her like one episode was like right. As our featured actress, because she's one of these. I think she's a late bloomer because I don't know what she was in before she got like kind of older in her career and started aging, but she was great in The Americans. She was in a show called The Watcher. She plays like these characters who are so unique and so fitted to her skill set and how she looks and how she acts. Mm-hmm. But not to get off on a tangent about this actress. She was also in a show I really like called Sneaky Pete, and she's not our actress of the week, but she's probably going to be. I just decided she has to be. She's a great actress. But anyway, so Cocaine Bear was kind of like a fun, like it reminded me of like an 80s like horror movie, like Jason or something, or Friday the 13th. However, there was a lot of levity to it. It was funny. It was light. Yes, this bear it was based on a true story too. Like cocaine fell out of the sky. And this bear, it was in a Georgia forest. This bear ended up snorting the cocaine and started like killing people. They obviously embellished for the movie, but it was just a really funny, fun movie. It was only about an hour and a half. It didn't keep you at the theater too long. It was 90 minutes. Right. The whole theater was laughing at a lot of parts. That's why I like being in the theater. You can really sense what's going on. How is the crowd reacting to the movie? And I think this movie's going to be, I think it's going to be number one in the box office. I think it's going to make, I said Megan's going to make 30 million. I wouldn't be surprised if Cocaine Bear messed around and made like 22 to 30 million at least. Right. So I highly recommend Cocaine Bear. I'd give it a 7.7. I really enjoyed it. Awesome movie. That's the most recent movie I saw in theaters. But I can't speak more highly of it. I mean, it's awesome. But then another thing happened. Joe, you ever hear of a grocery store named Aldi?
Yes. Never been there, but I heard the prices.
I went there for the first time. There's one right near me. Dude, it is friggin' it's kind of everything. It seems really cheap looking inside. It's just like, wow, they didn't put a lot of effort into like the aesthetics in this supermarket. But dude, I spent like $28 there. And like, I got so much stuff, dude. Like I got a whole loaf of white bread for like $1.20. I usually pay like $2 and change at Walmart for the Wonder Bread. I got a box of graham crackers for like $1.20. I got a thing of 2 pounds of strawberries or whatever the hell it is for $2. The produce is super cheap. I got a pre-made refrigerated Hawaiian chicken and some other sort of chicken and made it in the microwave in like 5 minutes. The chicken was excellent. It's chicken thighs. It was only about $7 for that meal. So it's kind of like I think it's owned by the same it was Germany's first discount grocery store, founded in 1961. But I think now the same company, I think the Albrecht family, they own Trader Joe's. So Trader Joe's is super popular. So everyone goes to Trader Joe's, but not a lot of people know about Aldi, ALDI.
Yeah,
if you want to save money if you're pinching pennies like me. Mm-hmm. It's really a great place. I mean, you could save a ton of money because I thought I was saving a lot of money at BJ's, the wholesale place, and Costco and Walmart. But I pretty much, for $28, the amount of food that I got, was wow. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, what I'm going to have to do is really, I'm going to check back with you like in a month to see how satisfied you are with the quality. I know the prices are.
that's what I was concerned about. But let me tell you, the graham crackers, very good. The pre-made meals, very good. The strawberries were not rotten or anything like that. The strawberries pretty fresh. Trying to think what else did I get. Yeah, I mean everything. I really can't complain about any like the quality of any of the products I got there. You know.
Yeah, so and that's cool, and it's early. If you just started, I'm going to check back with you in a month.
Also, eggs are going for like $6 a dozen. There had cartons of eggs for like $3.30 or $3.50. So, you really, it's just they're just eggs. You know what I mean? They're not going to be contaminated or really, they're unfresh. I mean, they have the expiration date on them. So even buying something as simple as a carton of eggs, because I read something I was reading, I go down rabbit holes basically, reading stuff, especially on Reddit. And there's people on Reddit talking about Aldi. Like, yeah, my family's grocery bill went from $700 a month to like $350 a month. Like they cut their grocery bills in half just by at least not buying everything at Aldi, but at least shopping at Aldi. So just very impressed with Aldi. I mean, it's unimpressed. One thing I was unimpressed was they don't have self-checkout in the one that I went to. So that was annoying. They only had one cashier, but then they had like two employees. It was also late at night. It was around closing time.
Right.
But they had eventually a second cashier came and helped out. I was out of there within like 5 minutes. So they don't seem like they have a ton of help, at least at nighttime. No self-checkout. It looks kind of cheap looking inside. Like everything's like, it's all like, it's like there's not a lot of furniture and not a lot of like I said, aesthetics like normal grocery stores have, but the quality of the food has been, good enough. You know what I mean? So
that's cool.
So it's a nice little discovery because you know me, I'm looking for budget and deals. I didn't take it seriously because like their app is kind of crappy, and I just like I couldn't find what I wanted on their app, and I didn't know what I was like, what do they have there? Where's the discounts? Where's the rewards? Because they don't have a rewards program like a lot of these other grocery stores have. So I had to go buy hard-boiled eggs. They didn't have hard-boiled eggs. I'll say that. I had to go buy hard-boiled eggs, and that's the only reason I went in there to see if they had hard-boiled eggs. But very good, very impressed with Aldi.
Good. Before you go on to your next thing, I have something I wanted to say.
Okay. Is it about Turkey and Red Cross again or something else?
Well, it's no, I mean, that stays. I mean, if anyone please, since you bring it up, I'm going to say that in Turkey, the natural disaster is causing a lot of misery for people. So please, if you get a chance on your phone, you can donate $10 to victims of natural disasters. Just type in the word Red Cross, REDCROSS, to the number 90999. And I've said this on previous episodes too. So if you could do that, it would be much appreciated. Here in Philadelphia, we had a police officer, 31-year-old Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald, was gunned down last week. He's a Temple police officer. He's a father of 5. He was laid to rest today. I just wanted to acknowledge him, Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald, 31 years old, a Temple police officer, the first Temple police officer to ever lose his life on duty, father of 5 kids. R.I.P. young man. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
Thanks. I also saw that he was posthumously. That's
Posthumously, yeah.
Posthumously, whatever it is.
Right.
Promoted to the rank of sergeant during the funeral service. So that was pretty cool, I guess.
Right. That's why I did say sergeant, but you're right. It just happened. And that's one thing. The other thing is it's a program I saw the other day, and I thought it was just fascinating. It really was. It's not often you get a chance to sit down and speak to someone who's 111 years old to tell you the stories of their life. But this program was called 100 Years from Mississippi. It can be seen online. It's a public broadcasting program, but it can be acquired and it can be seen online or whatever. It's called 100 Years from Mississippi. Miss Mamie Lang Kirkland was just 7 years old in 1915. She and her family fled Ellisville, Mississippi, in fear for her father's life because he was threatened to be lynched. Her father was a preacher, a good man, But unfortunately for him, he was African American, and he was really, they threatened to lynch him. And back then, they just didn't talk. This program will show you a lot of things that that a lot of us don't like to see, and a lot of things that I just, my head went into my hands when I saw a lot of this stuff. You know,
Where
it
did you
existed.
it looks like it's 99 cents on Apple, $3 on Vudu, $4 on YouTube. They charge on Prime Video too. Did you pay for it? Or where was it on?
I was watching TV one night and I said, what am I going to watch tonight? And I saw the title and I said, bang, it was on public broadcasting for, for
Okay.
free. So, and she vowed never to return. Now she left as a little girl, right? 7 years old. She left with a lot of things that she had already seen. And then she left, and the family left, and they went to Michigan. And she stayed there in Michigan until she could no longer really get around. And her son, who lived in California, brought her to California for her final years. But you get the opportunity to sit with this woman and hear the stories and see pictures. And it was really just a treat. And it really was something else. It really was something else. And I couldn't think of a better time than Black History Month. But regardless, I don't care if it was May or September. I don't give a damn what month it was. It was just a great, great, great program. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's all.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, so moving on to our actor of the week. Man's name is Forrest Whitaker. I'm sure a lot of people know who he is. Joe, this is your selection. I'll talk a little bit about him, then I'll let you talk about your top 5.
Yep.
So he was born July 15th, 1961. Born in Texas, but his family moved to South Central Los Angeles in 1965. His mom was a special education teacher. His dad was an insurance salesman. He played on the football team and he sang in the choir. Then he played a year of college football. And he got a football injury that made him quit college football and change his major to music. He transferred and ended up in USC's Drama Conservatory. So that's where he really got his acting chops. He graduated from USC with a BFA in acting in 1982. He's best known for a lot of people for his performance in The Last King of Scotland in 2006 movie. He got the Academy Award for Best Actor. He was the 4th Black actor in history to do so. He joined Sidney Poitier, who we talked about.
Yep. Denzel
Washington and Jamie Foxx. This was 2006, so that was at that time he was the 4th Black actor to win that award. In his acceptance speech, he said when he first started acting, it was because of his desire to connect to everyone, to that thing inside each of us, that light that he believes exists in all of us. Because acting for him is about believing in that connection. It's a connection so strong, it's a connection so deep that we feel it, and through our combined belief, we can create a new reality. So think about that. It's pretty cool, that sort of philosophy on acting.
Yeah.
He said every part that he played, especially in Last King, he learned new things that he couldn't figure out how to adapt it to the next role. It was always a new discovery every part he played. So like you would think that he learned these things and he could apply it to the next role, but no, every role is a challenge, He does a ton of research for his roles. He tries to put himself in each character's shoes. He likes to find a connection on the character he's playing and himself. He said if he doesn't get nervous before a role, it usually means he didn't do something great, or it's not going to be great, He has to be a little bit nervous. That's a good sign when you're kind of nervous.
Sure.
He's also known for his humanitarian work. And just quickly, I'll go over some stuff that he was in before your top 5. Obviously, his big breakout role was Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982. The ironic part was he had to gain 40 pounds for the role, even though he was a former football player, because he was so poor at the time, 1982, that he was so poor that he was so thin.
Yeah.
Then he was in another movie I really love called Vision Quest with Matthew Modine, one of my favorite movies of all time.
The Wrestler, yeah.
Yep. Color of Money. This is a Scorsese movie. I've been meaning to watch that recently. I haven't seen that. Yeah, I really want to watch that.
I haven't seen it either. Might mess around and watch that.
It was free on Amazon Prime, and I was going to go watch it last night, and then it said it was, sometimes they take the movies off free, and then it's got to be, got to pay for it. So I didn't watch it last night. Yeah, it was in a bunch of stuff. The Crying Game for 1992, Bloodsport, one of my favorite movies, Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he stood out to me big time. I watched a show with Michael Chiklis called The Shield. It was on FX.
Mhm.
He was great in that role. He said he merely had to draw on his childhood years and growing up in South Central Los Angeles for the role. His childhood, helped him out a lot with that role. Because he's trying to take down a dirty cop in that show. He's in a bunch of stuff. But Joe, I'll let you talk about his top 5.
Yeah, I mean, and I just to reiterate some of the things you were talking about too. I was impressed. I watched a little thing on him when he was interviewed. I was impressed at how much research went into him,
Yeah.
and how much self-evaluating he would do. He would look at himself on screen and look at the character, and if he saw even a little bit of himself in the character, he was disappointed. That's how efficient he wanted to be. He didn't want to recognize any bit of himself in there. I think that's pretty neat. That's pretty, I just think that's pretty cool. I also thought it's pretty cool. And we was talking about when he did Idi Amin, who's like a villain type, well, not type, Idi Amin was the villain and so forth. But what he wanted to do was take a look at him and try to separate the person Idi Amin from all the bad things that happened to him that made him that way, and to see a little bit of a light inside of him. I mean, he's that deep. You know what I mean? And then to pull them apart that way, and then to reconstruct the character, but never forgetting that light is there. I mean, stuff like that. I was really impressed with his depth. But anyway, let me just do my top 5, and I count from 5 all the way down to 1. Okay. Number 5 was, you mentioned it, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I love that scene where he just go, huh?
Well, Spicoli, you can't forget Spicoli from that though.
The other night I did no shirt, no shoes, no dice. I did that on my way out. You can never forget Spaghetti. But Fast Times at Ridgemont High was 5. Number 4 was a movie where he didn't have a whole lot of talking, but it's Platoon. And I loved the movie itself. See, when I do this too, I have to like the movie too. But the movie Platoon, it was a downer, but he was just so steady and so austere, just really just plain and just steady the whole movie long, like a rock. I just liked the way he did that character. Number 3 was The Last King of Scotland, where he was Idi Amin, the king of Uganda, and I'm telling you, well, it was frightening how real, he was. Number 2 is a movie that's to me, and like I said, this is all subjective. To me, he was in a movie in, I think it was 1994-ish, maybe in the mid 90s. And the movie he was in it with Kurt Russell, and who else was in it? Tommy Lee Jones was in it. The movie was called Blown Away, BLOWN away, Blown Away, and it was about he was on the bomb squad with Kurt Russell's character in Boston, and Tommy Lee Jones was a very disgruntled, hyper, whatever word you want to use, but he was with the IRA.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking individual retirement account either. So it was just a great movie. They all played great parts, and it wasn't a main part, but he was in that movie, which I loved, and he played his part well. And I'll never forget him in that movie. The number 1 movie I had, because you know me, I like movies like this. I like a little walk through history. It was a movie that he did called The Butler, where he played the role of a butler who made his way from the South up to the North and into nice hotels in the Washington, D.C. area. And one day he gets a call to work in the White House, and he thinks it's a joke, but it's not a joke. And he goes to the White House, and he made a career out of it. And while he was there, he saw, 5 or 6 different administrations and got to know presidents. And what a life, what a story. And it was based on a true story. So those are my top 5.
Nice, man. There was a scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He plays Charles Jefferson. I think that's the name of the character.
Yeah.
And Don't they purposely like damage his car just to motivate him for the game?
What happened was
Someone did something to his car and they used
Sp-
it as like fuel for him, right?
right, Spicoli was friends with Jefferson's little brother. And
Yeah, yeah,
Spicoli and his little brother were out and they were partying one night. And Spicoli's driving. He's like,
yeah.
people on lead should not drive. Like, it's just funny, you know. And he smashes up Jefferson's car. And he's like, my brother's going to kill us, man. He's going to kill us. I'm telling you, my brother's going to shit. And he's like, make up your mind, dude. Is he going to shit or is he going to kill us? Anyway, long story short, the scene cuts to this Trans Am that's all beat up. And the scene cuts to the next morning. The next morning, that beat up Trans Am is sitting in the school parking lot, and it's got all kinds of anti-Lincoln, like Lincoln sucks and this and
Yeah.
that, to make it look like the rival football team, the rival school, did this to his car. It was a quite clever move. So Jefferson comes out and he's looking at it, you know, and he's looking at it, and his eyes, they get him all fired up. And he makes about, I don't know, 52 tackles.
Yeah, it's like
he's in the hospital and
yeah,
shit.
and like the scene was so like they're showing close-ups of him. He was like a man possessed, dude.
Yes. Yeah.
That was
It
a
was
great
good. It was.
his role, and that was one of his first roles too, man. Like he really that was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm not really gonna do top five, but just off the top of my head, the ones that I really enjoyed them the most. Fast Times is like that's huge, you know, that movie's a classic. I had that on DVD. Vision Quest, Bloodsport, Panic Room, Jodie Foster. I saw that in the movies. Phone Booth, we talked about a couple episodes ago. The show he was in, The Shield. Yeah, I mean, those are my top one. He's also in a great show, Joe. You got to check it out. I think it's on Amazon Prime for free if you have Prime. Godfather of Harlem, dude. It's amazing.
It's a series. Yeah. You know who
Yeah.
else is in that? I didn't see it, but I want to see it. I saw a clip from it. Our boy Donofrio, or whatever the hell you want to call him, our boy Vinny is in that.
Yeah, he plays. I'm pretty sure he plays like a badass, like gangster guy.
Yeah. So I
That's what
might
we
mess
talked
around
about,
and
like,
watch that. Yeah.
Usually, like Donofrio or Don was Don Frio. We messed up the name, right?
You did it correctly. I think you had it the correct pronunciation.
Donofrio, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, it's counterintuitive from but when you look at it, I say Donofrio.
yeah.
But you're
So,
right, Donofrio or something.
you know, he's a like the both. First, Whitaker is big. So is Vincent. They have the ability to play these big, intimidating characters, but
Yeah.
in real life, at least I know Whitaker is very soft spoken in real life, and very demure and kind of shy. Whereas Donofrio, or however you say it,
Right.
he's I
He's
don't know.
not.
In real life, I feel like he's more intense than Forrest.
Yeah. But it
So,
was cool. It was cool to see that clip. I might watch the show. I might.
yeah, no, I'm telling you, man, it's a damn. I only saw season one. I watched it with my dad a couple years ago, but yeah, it was pretty good.
There's something on that I don't have Hulu or whatever the hell that is, but it's the History of the World Part 2. You know, Mel Brooks did History
Yeah,
of the World. This is History of the World Part 2, and it's all contemporary actors. It's brand new, but I'm going to wait till it comes out. I don't have Hulu, and I'm not just going to start buying every channel. You know, you $5 here, $5 here, $5 here. Before you know it, you got $50 extra a month just from the. So I'm going to wait for this to come on some other, but it looks interesting.
okay,
History
yeah.
of the World Part 2.
Actually, it's interesting. I'm looking at it. Original series 4-night event starts March 6th. You could get some pretty good deals if you're willing to watch ads. Because I'm grandfathered in for Hulu because I have a Spotify Premium. I had like a subscription. I think it was a student subscription, and then somehow I had Hulu for free, but it's along with the ads.
I'll watch ads. I don't care.
Yeah, you could probably get a good promo for it. I'll let you know when I see them, but like they run a lot of promos. You can get like Hulu for like $1 a month for like 6 months.
Oh, okay. That I did not know. Okay.
Otherwise, I think it's only like $5 a month, so it's not that expensive.
Well, that isn't, but therein lies the rub. Then you start something else I want to see is on another, and then another. And before you know it, you know, you're $5 and you're 12 different channels, and you're $60 extra a month. It's bullshit. I can't. I got to draw a line somewhere.
There's a lot of people do this. You could just pay the $5 for the one, subscribe for 1 month, watch everything you want to watch on Hulu, and then unsubscribe and then wait for more stuff and do it again, you know?
Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass to unsubscribe and all that stuff. But you know what? Sooner or later, that will come on some other channel. You know, it starts at Hulu, but it'll be on eventually.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. But it looks, because I like those kind of things.
Yeah, no, I love the history. History of the Mel Brooks is awesome. You guy's a legend. All
Yeah.
right, so Snapple Fact, you chose this, Joe. Oh, shout out to Forrest Whitaker. Happy to talk about you on the show, sir. Snapple Fact. 1281. In Venus, it snows metal. So, there's a lot of like scientific reasons why this happens. I'll give you just a quick idea. With the high temperatures on the planet's surface, on Venus's surface, water ice is impossible. So it's made from lead sulfide and bismuth sulfide, more commonly known as minerals galena and bismuth. And anyway, there's a lot of scientific reasons, but basically, the snow on Venus's surface is probably more similar to frost than it is actual snow. But the fact is that it snows, it kind of snows a type of metal on Venus. So there's sulfuric acid rains, they've been observed. It evaporates before it hits the ground. Just like over the rainforest on Earth. So anyway, that was interesting. You picked that one out, Joe.
Yeah, I just saw that and I thought snow's metal, but then the more I thought about it, we have mercury here, which is a liquid metal, and I figured it was something like that probably. Still, it catches your eye,
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So I guess we're on to a segment called On the Reel, and it's time for Joe to try to stump me.
okay, these are just headlines, which I like better. All right.
You're
Headline,
gonna elaborate in the real one, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Number one, new species of reptile discovered in Amazon rainforest. Number two, an elite Bronze Age man had brain surgery more than 3,000 years ago. Number three, Utah girl finds coin worth $2.5 million.
Okay, so the second one was you called him an elite, ELITE, elite?
Yeah.
So he was kind of like a rich guy who had brain surgery?
Based on where they found the body, the bones and everything, based on where they found them, they can deduce that he and his brother were well-to-do based on the location of the grave, right? So an elite Bronze Age just gives you an idea of the time, and an elite Bronze Age man had brain surgery more than 3,000 years ago.
Okay.
So 1,000 BC.
Where was the new species of reptile discovered? In the forest, you said?
New species of reptile discovered in Amazon rainforest.
Okay. New species of reptile. Let me think. All right, so everything's plausible, right? They're always discovering new species. So it's not out of the ordinary for that to happen. The brain surgery one is interesting. And the third one was what again?
Utah girl finds coin.
Oh, she found a coin worth $2.5 million. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. These are all trick. The headlines are a little bit more tricky because there's not as much to pick out from what you did,
Yeah. But easier to prepare though for all of us. So.
I think I'm gonna go with the second story just because you explained it. You said the bronze period. I know what the bronze period is, but then I don't know. I think I'm going with number 2 is real.
Unfortunately, you are very correct, sir. Okay. Good job.
Finally, man, you've got me like the past 4 episodes or something like that. Finally, damn.
Yeah, and I somehow lucked out, and but I do not sit there. Believe me, I do not, dude. You know me. You think I'm going to sit there and try to chase an answer to some? No. And it's fun to try to. But archaeologists uncovered the burial site of 2 brothers who lived during the 15th century BC in Israel. They were surprised to discover that one of them had brain surgery shortly before he died. It says finding marks. It says
get your notes together, sir.
Yeah, and I'm trying to read my own damn writing here, but the marks. This finding marks the earliest example of something called trephination. TREPH.
If you messed around and included trephination in your headline, I would have been like dude, he made like that's a real one because you wouldn't the think for you to think of now you're gonna use it in the future, but like for you to think of something called trephination, like what gave it away to me was when you said the bronze period. I was like, okay, he's got the bronze. It's really specific. It's like because I kind of asked you a secondary question.
Right.
But no, good one. We don't have to hear too much about it. So basically,
Right. Good.
guy had
That's
brain
cool.
surgery.
Mhm.
Okay.
Trephination was the name of the procedure, and because of the precision of the cuts in the skull, scientists knew that it was an intentional close-up thing, not like, he caught a rock to the head or something. And it's consistent with what they know about that period. So
Yeah,
interesting.
I think that's when they drill a circular piece of bone is drilled and pulled out of the skull.
Well,
So
this
they
was
used to do
like
a
a,
lot of
a
that. They used to
square,
like
but
they
yeah.
used to try to relieve people's pressure in their brains by like drilling holes in their head.
Yeah, it was one of those deals. They could
Yeah.
tell by the incision that it was a surgical procedure and not an accident. And they could tell that based on the location of the graves, because they found his brother with him, and it was his brother, I guess, through DNA. But they could tell that they were probably well off based on the location of their graves.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter, man. You nailed it, brah. So
Okay, cool.
excellent.
So quickly, Bryan Kohberger and Alex Murdaugh. I think it's actually I've been saying Murdaugh. I think it's actually Murdoch
It's
because I've been
murder, really. But go ahead.
murderer. But I've been he took the stand this week, Alex Murdoch.
I know he did.
Let's talk about him first, I guess. Talk about Murdoch. Kohberger's really quick. So Kohberger basically, he reportedly had pictures of one of the women he is accused of killing on his phone. More than a month and a half after the attacks, he had pictures of one of the girls on his phone. So that's a little bit weird. He followed them on Instagram. He kind of stalked them. He DM'd them and stuff. But like to have actual pictures like in his like photo album of one of the girls, it's a little bit creepy and weird. And just lends more to the fact that he's probably guilty. They found multiple pictures of her. And it didn't say if the pictures had been taken by him. They didn't say if he got it from social media, but nonetheless, he had them saved on his phone, which is very creepy. Anyway, Alex Murdaugh took the stand, Joe. And today he got cross-examined. And I'm kind of nervous because I have a friend, I'm not going to say who. He's like, oh man, I've been watching the Murdaugh trial, and I think he's innocent. This guy, he's such a reptile and such a good liar on the stand, because everyone's saying it was a mistake to put him on the stand and everything like that. And it was a mistake for him to be on the stand because it's going to make, he's going to hang himself with his own words. Right. But there's people, just normal people, pretty smart people, think he's innocent just by looking at his body language and listening to him talk. Because he's saying things like, he's like, oh, if he feared that his embezzlement was about to come to light, he would have rather killed himself than his family. He's like, he would never hurt his wife or son. He would hurt himself before he hurts one of them. And like, this guy's a trained lawyer, so he knows how to like operate while being on a witness stand. So there's a lot going on with him on the stand. I mean, he's very convincing though, because I've been watching a little bit too, and like his body language is under control, and he's very like, they're not able to poke a lot of holes in what he's been saying, but obviously it's been working because the casual observers, people just checking out the case for a little bit, is like believing this guy. And like, they're like, all it takes is one juror for him to be innocent. And like, it's a little concerning that people think this guy's innocent when everything points to him being guilty,
Well, that's the whole thing. He's a trained lawyer and a very good lawyer at that. A lot of sociopaths are very smart and skillful at a lot of things. So he's able to manipulate those who are easily hoodwinked. So yeah, there are people that are going to be easily hoodwinked, and it only takes one very gullible person to throw the whole thing out of whack. So I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah.
A lot of
So
gullible people out there.
some highlights from him on the stand. So he literally said, I didn't shoot my wife or son.
What was he supposed to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mowed him down. I shot him point blank range. Of course he's going to say.
He admitted he lied to law enforcement officers about his location before the murders due to his addiction to prescription pain pills and general paranoia. He broke down multiple times on the stand as his attorney asked him to describe the murder scene. I'm getting these quick notes that I got here. It's pretty helpful because I usually find it myself, but quickly just got some cliff notes here from NBC News .com. So they have pretty good, a nice, concise little. I like when they do the bullet points. You don't have to read a whole article. I do that anyway usually, but this is nice. So the cross-examination, prosecution grilled him on his news story. They said that his testimony was yesterday was fabricated to align with the Snapchat video evidence that he saw his wife and son minutes before they were found dead, because there's video from his son's phone of Alex Murdaugh being around the wife and son minutes before they were killed. And I don't know how he's tiptoeing around that, but that's something the prosecution really needs to drill deep into and really challenge him on. Why were you in this video? That type of thing, because that's very important. So just watching him on stand, it's like I wanted to see the guy really like squirm and be nervous. And I'm like, yeah, this guy, he's guilty. And like, but like people are saying, like, OJ got off. Why can't he? It takes one juror. And apparently on the stand, he's doing a pretty convincing job, which is concerning, because it would be a shame for this murderer and general scumbag to go free.
Right. Therein lies the rub. I mean, I really don't think anyone that really thinks about it will actually think that, well, he's innocent, but someone can take this and say, I think he might get away with this. That's different. And to think he might get away with this is a scary thought that I had too. Now, I'm not naive enough to think, geez, he might be innocent. No. There's enough there to really look at this thing. And the reason why he's coming across so smoothly, he is a tremendously skilled lawyer. Don't think that he's not. Dude, a lot of sociopaths are very, very smart and very, very successful people. So that they're not mutually exclusive. So I think he's a very smooth character, very well spoken, very educated, very skilled. He knows exactly what he wants to say up there. But unfortunately, with these jokers, what a lot of times is they think they're extra. They think they're going to outsmart everybody. But I think there's enough there that if you really look at it, if you just go by facts, he's toast. But is there enough there to sway just one of these guys, one of these people on the jury to just, well, I really don't know for sure, then you might get it. So yeah, I don't think any rational person would look and say, I think he might be innocent. But I think someone might look and say, hey, he's not going to mess around and get away with this, because I had the same scary thought. But even if he gets away with this murder thing, I think he's guilty of enough embezzlement and things like that to put him in jail forever anyway. So I mean, for years and years and years anyway. So I mean, pick your weapon, pick your poison, the knife or the gun, no pun intended. But I don't think you're ever going to see him out anywhere, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So current events. Joe, have you heard about the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio?
Yep.
So I've been reading a couple articles about it. Basically, the train derailed. It was carrying a lot of toxic chemicals, including hydrogen or vinyl chloride or something like that. It's just one of those things that happens in these local towns where there's like an explosion or something like that, and then it could poison the water. There could be long-term effects from the chemicals, from the toxic chemicals from this train. But people are skeptical of the officials. A lot of government officials are doing their official tests, quote unquote. And these people are saying that's not good enough. They're trying to say the air monitoring team left within 10 minutes due to an unpleasant overwhelming odor. It smells like a super glue pool fruity-like odor, but there was no significant amounts of vinyl chloride, because vinyl chloride is a colorless gas carried by the train, but it also had other toxic chemicals. But a lot of people are seeking their independent tests, even though they cost a lot of money. Some of these tests cost at least $1,000. They're worried about the threat of possible long-term exposure to the chemical cocktail. It was released into the air and the water. They're saying that there's a deep fear that the town and its neighboring villages will be forgotten. Now it's a current event. Now it's all over the news. They don't want people to forget about this. They want to be like, what do we do? Do we leave this town? Do we abandon East Palestine, Ohio? What do we do here? Because this could have long-term effects on the future childbirths, cancer, all sorts of stuff that can happen from this. Again, vinyl chloride is an odorless toxic chemical. So, EPA said they screened 525 homes for air quality. They sampled the water in town. They said there's no concerning levels of contaminants. They also tested 48 wells, mostly in Ohio. They found them safe. They're going to continue to test it until they say the danger has passed. But again, residents are scared. They're going to forget about them. And all this problem is going to be down the road. Even Erin Brockovich, the beautiful actress, Julia Roberts, played Erin Brockovich in a movie about issues like this. She's an environmental activist now. She successfully challenged companies in the spread of toxic pollutants. She appeared in East Palestine on Thursday. So she's involved now. She's a big name. There's a movie made after her. You know what I mean? So, they've officials encouraged the families of private wells to keep drinking bottled water until their water has been tested. And somebody said, if you go into a marshmallow factory and there's a mustard plant right beside it, then your marshmallows are going to taste like mustard. They said that's exactly what's happening. And then there's also new news, another article in the New York Times. The crew tried to stop the train before the derailment. They said an overheating wheel bearing set off an audible alarm on the train before it derailed. The wheel bearing had been steadily heating up as the train traveled through Ohio, but the alarm did not go off until a sensor registered that the wheel had reached 253 degrees above the ambient temperature. So this is good to know to prevent this in the future, because two earlier sensors did not even register a high enough temperature to trigger an alarm. And then, because these trains and these toxic chemicals can ruin entire towns and cities, dude. It's scary.
And I'm not going to get political with you, but there were safety regulations in place. But during a certain presidential administration, and not the current one, but the one before it, those regulations were lifted by the former president and members of his party because they were inconvenient and cost a little bit of extra money. So they were lifted. If those regulations had been firmly left in place, this could have been averted. That's the tragedy. It's one of the tragedies. Another tragedy here is, if you don't think we live in a country that sees color, out in Michigan, up near Flint, Michigan, for the longest time, the water was contaminated, and they couldn't get anybody to do a damn thing. I mean, it was almost like the color of ginger ale as opposed to being clear for the longest time, on and on and on. And little kids were developing, this disease and that disease. People were developing cancer, and this went on for a couple of 3, 4, 5 years. Look it up in Flint, Michigan. And it's just one of those things that it's just heartbreaking when you look at the injustices of our country.
There's a lot of people to blame, right? I mean, even Pete Buttigieg and other government officials, they're facing a lot of criticism. They're saying there's been a delayed response. So yes, it could have been prevented in a lot of ways, but also the Norfolk Southern is the operator of the train. They're facing the wrath of a lot of residents and lawmakers over the derailment.
I saw the president interviewed today and asked this question. He said, let's put things in proper perspective. We had people out there within 2 hours of this accident. Within 2 hours of the accident, they had people out there. So there aren't a whole lot of people to blame. There's really one specific. Let's just get it. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. I'm going to be fair when it's fair, but I'm also going to lean when it's right. I'm going to tell you that way. So the Biden administration had people on the ground out there, Sean, within 2 hours of the accident. So we're not going to start that BS too, like this false equivalency stuff. So, but I'm not going to get all worked up. But what else is on the docket besides that horrific story of that train accident? Do we have anything else of interest?
No, I want to continue talking about this for a second here, because it's obviously an important topic, because when this stuff happens, it's very scary, and there's people can die and get cancer. So it's not something to do lightly.
I know.
Just so you talking about the previous administration, I don't want to talk about politics and go crazy here, but
then don't.
Bill Maher?
Yeah.
He said something funny. This is really lighthearted, and it's kind of funny, but it gives you an idea of how some people think. He said that he challenged Donald Trump. He'll pay him $5 million if he can prove that he's not related to an orangutan, because they have the exact same hair color and stuff. And Donald Trump actually went to court and proved that he wasn't an orangutan. He brought his genetic test and everything like that. And he tried to get the $5 million from Bill Maher. So when that type of stuff happens, you're like, the ex-president really wants to sue someone for $5 million and keep them to the word just because the guy made a joke about him being related to an orangutan
Yeah.
because the color of his hair. It's like, come on.
Yeah. There's no need to, I don't even like to say his name anymore. Really. It's such a,
No, but like, it's just
oh,
like,
that is a funny, I have to tell you, that is a funny story, Sean. It is, but just so sick of that individual. I mean, just don't even like saying his name anymore. Just the
yeah.
damage that he's done. Oh God, the damage that he's done. But anyway,
So thoughts and
anything
prayers.
else? So, Ohio, anything else?
Yeah, these are current events, dude. We're focused on, let's just
Oh,
stay on
no,
top
I'm
of
not
it.
being facetious with you, Sean. I'm just saying, is there anything else on? I mean, that is a very good. I'm glad you shed light on that. And
Yeah.
it's very important. And what I said about safety regulations and whose administration and what was going on and the response time of this administration with boots on the ground, you go look it up. It's all factual because I've been on this because it is a topic of interest.
But
But
the one
yeah,
thing I like to see,
those people, I pray for those people that they're for their health, because if it happens in your backyard, then it's different. You know what I mean?
yeah, one thing I like to see is that Ohio Senators Sherrod Brown, a Democrat, and JD Vance, a Republican, they sent a joint letter on Saturday calling on the state and national EPAs to test the air for dioxins, toxic pollutants that could have formed after vinyl chloride was burned. So, both sides of the aisle seem to be coming together and working together to solve this
Amen.
issue. So
Amen.
I like that.
Yeah. Amen.
So that's our current event. As far as sports go, football season's over. NBA just came back last night. I'm very happy right now because the Knicks beat the Wizards tonight, despite Jalen Brunson not having a great game. He only had 13 points on 6 of 20 shooting, but he had 9 assists. Josh Hart didn't, you might look at the stat line and see Josh Hart, 5 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 for 6 shooting. But Josh Hart is a guy you need to watch. He brings so much energy and so much defense and heart, to no pun intended, to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Jalen played together in college, won a national title. It's working out beautifully so far. If Jay Wright decides to coach the Knicks next year, somehow they figure a way to do that, I'd be in heaven as a Knicks and Villanova diehard.
God, I'd want him as a Sixers coach. I really do.
Yeah, but
Oh,
you'd probably go to the Knicks instead because he's got 2 of his guys on the team. You know what I mean?
he loves the Philadelphia. It'd be interesting, Sean, because he loves this area. He really
Yeah,
does.
New
And how
York
about
City
my
loves them
Sixers
now.
last night? How about my Sixers last night? They
I know,
beat
it
a
was a big win.
pretty doggone good Grizzlies team. So,
Yeah, the Grizzlies are legit.
yeah.
It was actually close. It came down to the end. I mean, I think the Grizzlies were within 3. I was watching the end of that game, and they actually, I think the Sixers like forced a turnover.
Did you see Embiid slap that boy shit away? That was that was just beautiful, brother. And then my boy, the beard sticking that corner 3. Oh, tremendous.
Yeah, man, I'm very happy you're locked into. You're not locked. You don't have to be locked in, but like
I wouldn't
I'm
use
happy,
the word.
I'm happy
I don't
you're,
have to be locked in. I
yeah,
just
I'm
have
saying
to be.
like
Yeah.
you watch a little bit of the Sixers. We got some. I'm glad. I'll just say I'm glad that you're following, because I'm a diehard basketball fan, man. So I try to things that I love. I have a bad habit of trying to like get people to like what I like too.
Oh,
So I'm
no,
like,
yeah.
Joe, watch more basketball and stuff.
Oh, dude, had this been 1980, 82, or 81 or 83, I couldn't shut up about basketball. I eat, breathed, and lived. I mean, it was just unbelievable, Sean. And when the Boston Celtics or the Lakers would come to town, the buzz in the air all day long, it just would be like a Super Bowl, but it would be unbelievable. It would just be, but this were the glory days that I remember. But hopefully there's some to, I mean, the Sixers could, if they get it together, who knows, but you've got, who knows what's going to happen with Giannis and his hand, or what's going to go on. And the Celtics, like you had said many a time, if you take that long ball away from them, if they go cold there, they're vulnerable. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, out in the West, it's going to be interesting too. Will he make a move? Will they make a move? That's going to be interesting to see what they do. Does the thing work in Dallas? Does that work?
Yeah, Kyrie. What I noticed, I was very locked in the Dallas game last night because I had a nice parlay. I had a free $57 bet, and I had to use it by like a certain date. So I'm like, basketball has been gone. I saved this bet. I'll use it. So I had pretty good odds. I needed 6 things to happen. 5 things that I needed to happen happened. All I needed was 2 3-pointers from Luka Doncic, who usually gets at least 2 per game. At least he makes at least 2 threes a game.
Yeah.
The problem was it was a blowout. So they took him out. He didn't really play in the fourth quarter. he had one 3-pointer. So if he hit one more 3-pointer, I would have won like, $130 or something like that. So that was annoying, but that happens a lot in parlays. They call parlays are for suckers because you need all these things to happen, but it seems so realistic, right? Because last night, for example, I needed Kyrie Irving to score 18 points. All right, easy. Kyrie Irving, why wouldn't he score 18 points? Luka Doncic to score 20. Why wouldn't he score 20? A couple other things. Kyrie Irving hit 3 threes. I thought Luka Doncic's 2 3-pointers was the most easy thing to happen. But when you're betting, if you see a good team's playing a bad team and the Spurs are not very good, be very careful because you might need that player to get X amount of points, X amount of assists. But the fourth quarter comes, they're sitting the stars because the game's over. So just gambler's advice.
All right. But the West is going to be interesting to see how it unfolds because you've got so many. I mean, you've got Denver, you got the Joker. And then what about Kevin Durant with the Suns?
With the Suns, I think like next week, I think.
Yeah, do they have enough time though? Is that going to take some time to gel? Because they don't have a lot. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting.
But he's no stranger to this. I know Chris Paul is old now, so you can't really call him a super team. But he's no stranger to playing with superstars. Like he played with Steph Curry. He was playing with James Harden and Westbrook on the Thunder. So I think KD's going to fit in just fine. I think Devin Booker is going to be able to defer to KD. KD likes to be the alpha. KD likes to be the alpha and the omega, and really take a lot of shots. And he's a shot maker, right?
Yeah.
And so is Devin Booker, though. So I think that CP3 is going to have no problem feeding those guys. But Devin Booker is not selfish. So I think Devin Booker is kind of going to defer to KD, and KD's going to be the alpha. And KD's going to, I think they're going to be, for right now, the Suns are 5th seed in the Western Conference. I wish they still had my guy, Mikal Bridges, but obviously they needed to get KD somehow, so they had to give up a good piece. So, yeah, it's interesting. The West is interesting. I think the East, honestly, the East is pretty stacked themselves because the Knicks are only the 6th seed, but the Knicks are looking damn good.
I'm impressed with what the Knicks are no longer like, oh, yeah, the Knicks. No, the Knicks, and it's not just a flash in the pan. I thought they would fizzle out. No, they're a formidable basketball team now for the first time in a long, long time. So it's going to be neat to see how things shake out.
Absolutely. As far as college basketball is concerned, Villanova beat the number 16th ranked team in the country. Xavier, we played them Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It was on the road too.
Yeah.
So now we're about 14-14. I don't know. We're not going to make the NCAA tournament the way things stand. However, since Justin Moore came back, we look a lot better, like I predicted, because everyone knows that the best player is missing. Therefore, your team's not going to be as good without your best player. But he's back now. If we win that Big East tournament, if we mess around and win that Big East tournament, if we mess around and win that Big East tournament, we're going to bid to the tournament, and who knows? Who knows what can happen? We're a wild card. We're a very volatile team. We're not consistent. We got a new coach, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what shakes out here. But so I got a little bit of hope. I got a little bit of hope. And Kyle Neptune is doing a little bit better. I'm still not sold on Kyle Neptune, but he's the coach of Villanova. He's doing a little bit better. He's making a little bit better decisions. He's not wasting his timeouts too early in the game. He's making better substitutions. I like him to play Brendan Howson a lot more because Brendan Howson's a sniper, but he's a liability on defense. Thank God he's sat Chris Arcidiacono a lot more because now we have Justin Moore to handle the bar. We don't really need Arch that much. But so that's basketball. Baseball is coming back.
One thing I want to ask you with basketball real quickly, though, and just a quick, because this is all over the news. What do you think of that kid from Alabama, Miller? What do you think about?
Oh my God, what a phenomenal talent. I saw him play South Carolina the other night. I was watching the very end of the game in overtime. He single-handedly won that game for Alabama because they weren't looking good. They're like the number 2 team in the country. Phenomenal talent, projected top 5 pick, probably will be a top 3 pick. People are saying he's like kind of like Kevin Durant. He's that good. But his gun was used in a murder. So now the question is, did he know there's going to be a murder committed? Can they charge him with anything? The fans at South Carolina were being brutal to him. They're calling him guilty. They're chanting guilty at him, a bunch of other names. Yeah. He had to deal with, he's a college student. He had to deal with all that. He's about 18 years old or 19. And he put up 41 points on the road versus a hostile crowd. So I was impressed with that. I don't know what's going to happen. I doubt he's going to be charged with anything, but who knows?
I don't either.
And that's such a bright future. I hope, hopefully, he didn't have more of a serious role in it. Hopefully it was just his gun. The guy happened to use it without his knowledge, and he was naive to the whole thing.
That's
So,
the whole thing. I need to find out a whole lot more about how, because there are a lot of different variables here. If he's just delivering this thing, if his friend calls him and says, "Hey, listen, get me that bag. I got my piece in there. I got my gun in there. Give me that bag because I'm going somewhere later, and I just want to make sure I'm safe and that no one bothers me. I just feel more secure if I have it." That's one thing. And if he say, "Hey, bring me that bag because I want to shoot somebody in 2 minutes," that's different. So there's a whole lot of
exactly.
variables there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Plus,
I
you're in a
know.
state where everybody carries a gun. I get a
Yeah.
gun, you get a gun. You know.
I would hope that he knows he's a top 5 draft pick. He's going to be a millionaire. He's going to play basketball for the next 20 years at least.
Mhm.
That he didn't knowingly assist in a murder. That's all I'll say.
Right, and I don't think he did. I don't
Yep.
think he did.
But anyway, that's the show today. Eagles defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator were hired for head coaching positions. So that's exciting, Joe. So we'll talk about that maybe next episode.
Mhm.
The floor is yours, sir.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli. Good night.
Take care.